Everyone, it's Mr. Trackmaster back here again with another video. As you saw in my YouTube post, I am doing a Lionel review over the multiple road gauge engines I have acquired over the past few years. So let's jump right into it with our first and only Thomas the Tank engine. Now, I acquired Thomas closely over about a year ago from like an eBay seller. I paid like $100 for him. Not terrible, really good condition when I bought him too. Obviously you can see he's got modifications. So like what I did was I kind of just like cut a slit up on the front here. Get it more in the view. Cut a slit up on the front here, and added an extra coupling from O-Gauge. So I just kind of like glued it on there, and it works perfectly. He's able to shunt and pull everything. Yeah, and then if I open the cab here, he does have modified driver and fireman, so that's cool. All the features like the whistle, like the whistle and stuff worked. Overall, really nice piece. Do recommend for like early starters when they're getting into the hobby, something like this, or something very like little more post-war era, like an 040. Would recommend just like little starter sets, nothing too expensive like Lionel's Bluetooth kits. But yeah, anyway, there's Thomas. Next up on our list, we have the I don't really know what this is. If someone in the comments could tell me what this engine is, that would be really helpful. But a buddy of mine gave it to me, and yes, it was in this condition when he gave it to me. Like it was not the greatest. It runs perfectly. It is a post-war era engine. I'll give you that much. It is all, yeah, as you can tell. Here, I'll turn to the other side. This, when he gave it to me, this was all busted, so it just kind of sits up on the railing of the engine itself. There's the front. It does come off, so I can get it more closer. I can switch out the light inside of there. I don't know if you can see the light, but yeah, yeah, you can switch out the light and whatnot. It does have an open cab, so I can indeed put somebody in there if I wanted to. Overall, this engine does run really nice. Again, if someone could tell me what the name of this engine is or what era it was from, just tell me in the comments. That would be great. Thank you. Moving on, we have the one of the Polar Express O-Gauge engines that I have. This one is an older version, the non-Bluetooth one, but does still have the rail sound features and whatnot. The just regular air whistle tender. I've had this for over 3 years now. The bell was missing. Obviously, you can tell that the cow catcher is gone. I had dropped it when I was younger, so that was the cause. But aside from that, the engine runs really great. Nothing else is wrong with this engine. I mean, it all runs really well. Nothing's been modified to this engine at all because I'd like to keep it more original. If you're looking for like any particular Christmas engine, I would highly recommend buying one of these. Or they do make Christmas Thomas, where he has like a Thomas hat, like right on his funnel and on, and he has some Christmas cards done behind him. But if you want to buy a Christmas engine, one of these, really good model. Pretty pricey though, so I would highly recommend the O-Gauge Christmas Thomas. Alright, and here's the tender to it. Pretty simple standard tender, nothing really much to go there. While we're on the topic of the Polar Express, never mind. Guess we'll move on to the Pennsylvania turbine. You may have seen one of these in an older video that I did a long while ago. It's titled Pennsylvania turbine like unboxing with a bunch of blue passenger cars. Yeah, that engine decided to give out on me. And so what happened was I was running it on my layout, which you guys have seen in other videos. I was running it, and what happened was it just gave out. It seized up and started buzzing, and then almost caught on fire. So I had to give it away not give it away, but I gave it to a guy who said he could fix it for me, and yeah. But anyways, I got this from the same guy. Paid like $70 for this one, and coincidentally, it's a number 2020. I think, yeah, 2020. Wonder, yeah, it is a 2020. So that's neat. It runs really nice. The steam power is really good too. So it smells really nice. It does need a headlight replacement, so it doesn't have a light yet, but it is a really nice model. Here's the tender per set engine, and surprisingly, this wasn't screwed on when I bought it, but it does have a custom air piece, like air whistle piece, which I find to be pretty neat. Like, instead of the original metal ones you see inside of here, this is like a custom, what looks like almost like a countertop, like what you use to make a countertop out of sometimes. So there's that, and then obviously the original Lionel Lions tender shell. And then we have, next up on our list, we have the Hogwarts Express. Pull the engine around over here real quick. I acquired this engine last year from a buddy of mine. You may know him as Mr. Railyard. We do a train show in August in Alden, Michigan. It is called Alden Train Fest. It is a model train show where we do pretty much the same thing that we do in Travers behind Best Buy, the First Christian Church, for Festival of Trains. Now, with this, like last joke I was saying, Mr. Railyard had given me this engine just like as a gift, just for being nice. And I mean, I would like to pay him back at some point because this was a very expensive, pricey gift, considering these engines are not cheap. I wonder what that sound is. These engines are not cheap. I think one of these engines alone goes for about $250, and at the time I wasn't making a lot of money, so I didn't really have enough to pay him back. And so now we're both working at the same job, so I will have the money to pay him back at some point. But these are really nice engines. I'll get a better look at that engine real quick. The Hogwarts logo. Nothing is broken on this engine. It is all in really good shape. Really nice engine. Here's a quick look at the tender for said engine. Like I said, really nice piece. Next up on our list, we have a old post-war chassis system diesel. And we got Tondro from Demon Slayer on here for some reason. I don't know why we have that on here, but hold up, and we just did it off real quick so we can get on with the review. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we have an old post-war chassis system diesel. Now, I acquired this. It was a trade deal with a buddy of mine. From the same guy that I bought the turbine with, that I bought this turbine. Sorry. Yeah, so I got the chassis system. Also, I mean, personally, I give it like a rating, like maybe a 6.5, possible 7 out of 10. I'm only saying that because its pulling capacity is not very much. I'm talking it cannot pull more than maybe 5 cars at a time, because the running mechanism is only in the front, and the back is just like a dummy unit, so there's nothing back here, and which kind of makes it a little bit harder for it to pull anything other than maybe, like I said, 3 to 5 cars. But yeah, I mean, the light fixtures inside of here are really nice. Nothing's wrong with this engine at all. It just can't really pull very much, but overall, really nice engine. I do like the paint scheme on here. But yeah, anyone can tell me what the unit is for this, or what the chassis system's based off of, that would be nice, just in the comments. Now, moving on, we are going to move on to the Hudson, the old post-war Hudson I acquired a couple years ago. Actually, last year at Alden Train Show, I acquired this. This is I paid $125 for it. This Hudson runs like clockwork. I'm talking the smoothest runner I've ever had. It sounds a little bit louder when it's running around, but in this case, it's also really old. It steams perfectly. The lights work, which is amazing. It was actually fixed up. I found it at the clubhouse where I do the meetings for Alden, and when I do those meetings, I find like really good engines that I want, and it wasn't in the greatest shape, and so the guy I got it from, said he'd fix it for me. He did. He redid everything. Redid the whistle. Redid the whistle, air whistle inside the tender, so that works perfectly. It's also one of these tenders where it's got the hold on. I'll show that. You can see it kind of. It's got that little like water piece, so like when it's on long journeys, it just kind of like scoops up water when it rains, and like fills it up. But yeah, I paid $125 for this engine entirely, which wasn't a bad deal considering how old and I mean I wouldn't say rare, but they're not really easy to find either. You don't really find like a simple standard Hudson just like, oh yeah, chilling on an eBay listing, just kind of hanging out. Sorry if you hear some noise in the background. I'm making some room for the other engines that I am putting aside that have already been reviewed. But yeah, there's the tender, the streamlined tender. But yeah, that's the Hudson. And like I said previously, out of one of two Polar Expresses, I do have a second one. Now this one is Lionel's Bluetooth model, which I really like. Lionel's Bluetooth model was a really nice piece. Everything's here. Like nothing's wrong with this engine. Runs really great. The only things I mean, like I said, it's a good engine, but I do have a little bit of a problem, and I'll show you here in a minute. So with all of other of Lionel's engines, the engine and its tender normally sit like that at most, which looks realistic. But when Lionel proceeded to do their Bluetooth models, they made this really long coupling, so it's like not really realistic to anything. It's like a really long pretty much looks like a rod, pretty much just connecting the two, and it's just doesn't look realistic. Now, if it took the little electric port right here and just shortened it down a little bit to like maybe here, you could potentially have it sit like. Let me see if I can line this up with it. But yeah, that looks a little bit more realistic, just slightly, and you can even still get across too. But yeah, that's my only dislike about this engine. Other than that, really nice piece. Smokes really well. The sounds work decently. Other things I don't really like about this locomotive is how all the details and whatnot are like just molds to the body. That's not really great compared to Lionel's original, where all the details are not molds and they're actually like, here and you can feel them and whatnot. Like, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, really nice engine. Do like it. Yeah, anything Christmas related, just go after like smaller sets because engines like these are pretty pricey. I pay around $200 to $300 for engines like this on maximum. So yeah, there's that one. Obviously, you saw the tender. Pretty basic tender. Nothing really new about that one, other than it has sound, pretty much. So that's about it. And for our last one, we have a TMCC Santa Fe Atlantic. Now, this engine is currently going through some maintenance work because it is currently broken. So that's why you do not see the front four-wheel truck at the front here. It's going through some extensive work. But this engine runs really great. The smoke system on it's magnificent. This engine runs like clockwork too. All engines run like clockwork, but they need work occasionally. Engine's really great. I like the paint scheme. All the details and whatnot are actually there, not just molds on there. But yeah, I mean, really, again, like Lionel really outdid themselves with engines like these because TMCC, anything that's TMCC just looks really nice. So here's a look at the front. And look to the back. And back to here, the tender light, the firebox light does glow, so that's a really cool feature they added. But yeah, I mean, really nice piece, gotta say. And here's the tender to this thing. Most TMCC engines will have like a die-cast tender, so this is a full die-cast metal tender. It's not just a plastic mold like other Lionel's plastic shell tenders. But yeah, really nice piece. Obviously, any engine you buy that has this little knot on it, a little like wire, it is TMCC, and you can see that or not. A little closer. And it's kind of annoying. You can see right around here. You see that little like this little piece right here, little turning piece. You can adjust the volume, and you can turn it to rail sounds if you wanted to. But yeah, that is my entire Lionel collection. Update video shortly, whenever I get a chance to do so. I am another engine I currently just purchased is coming in the mail soon. So when that gets here, I'll do a review on that, and then sometime like later, probably this weekend or something, I will do a review of the I'll do a review, like a running session of all my engines. We'll just do like a, I don't know, like 5 minutes on each engine. So that'll be nice. And yeah, that'll be nice to do. But yeah, just stay tuned for the next review for Lionel. As far as Lionel engines go, just stay tuned for that review. And yeah, this is Mr. Trackmaster signing off, and see you in the next one. Bye.